All right, and I am actually back. Right now, you can guys hear me, which is amazing and ideal. Until now, it was muted. So, for the past 2 minutes, if you just joined, you wasted nothing. Hi, and welcome. My name is Noemi. I am the founder of ScaleWave. We are an agency specialized in helping brands scale on Amazon via Amazon advertising. Today's session is specifically for beginner questions when it comes down to Amazon ads. Reason for that, 6 years ago when we started selling on Amazon and we needed to learn all the skills when it comes down to selling on Amazon ads was one of them, and specifically asking the right questions when it comes down to whatever new skill you would learn. Most people are really afraid to be embarrassed. So what I noticed on whenever I was starting, I was like, yes, I don't know, please give me the answer. And that was a really good skill itself, asking the questions. So today's session is specialized in answering all those questions. We are going to answer first beginner questions. If you have any advanced question, feel free to drop it in the comment section. I'm going to go through that as well and answer it once that all the beginner questions have been already answered. For today's session, I'm allocating 30 minutes and we shall be starting the sessions right now, reading out comments from LinkedIn, YouTube, and also on Instagram. And also I have a few comments slash questions asked that was directly asked via DM. So those are all the questions that I'm going to ask. Again, if you have any Amazon ads related question, feel free to drop it here in the chat section. And if you have anything business related, SOPs, hiring, firing, employees, management, all that, feel free to drop them here. More than happy to answer. But since our topic is Amazon ads, those are the questions that I'm going to answer first, okay? So giving you a quick rundown, basically what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go through all these questions. We have allocated 30 minutes and we are good to go. So the very first question that I see here is, how can I use ads, PPC ads, to drive more qualified traffic to my products on Amazon? So love the question, and especially love the fact that it asks qualified traffic to my products on Amazon. There's also such things as not qualified traffic, and usually that's the first discussion whenever I have with brands who are, hopping on a call, considering us taking over their ads, and I'm going to ask them, okay, how much knowledge do they have of advertising? Simple reason of that is that I want to know if they understand that there's also such a thing as not qualified traffic. And here, don't get me wrong, not qualified traffic simply means that they are not the right target audience right now for the stage of the product that you are in. So unqualified, it's not only traffic that is not relevant to your product, but also can be right now you're in the stage where your ads are not going to convert simply because you're driving very top of funnel ads to a product where your strategy is to convert right away, right? And here why I'm saying that is because most of the time, especially if you are launching a product or if you want to get someone to buy as soon as possible your product, those will be the sponsored product ad types that we would be creating for accounts selling on Amazon. And why am I saying that is because most of the time I hear that so many consultants, agencies, managers who are whose specialty is Amazon is going to be, all right, so we are going to drive sponsored brand ads. We are going to drive sponsored display ads to your product because you're not taking advantage of them. While that is great, what we noticed is that most of the ads that are going to convert the best is still sponsored product, unless there is any other ad types that is new that not most brands are using. Again, example, 6 years ago when we started selling on Amazon, and this is also considered qualified traffic. So when we started selling on Amazon, barely then, sponsored brand video ads just came out. And because not many brands were creating a video and then advertising their product that way, we got a lot of foot traffic, quote unquote, like basically traffic to our listing that converted really quickly. It converted better than the sponsored product ads. Simple reason, we were the only ones who were beside the only ones that were driving that within our niche and within our category. So getting back to your question, how can you use PPC to drive more qualified traffic? Let's define what qualified means for the stage of the product, and also let's define what is your goal for the product. If you want to get sales, as many as possible, you are going to dip into all the ad types and just launch all the ad types for the product. But if you want to have more performance base in the sense of as a quick as possible conversion, you would run more sponsored product ads. Caveat to that is that everyone is going to start with sponsored products, so there's going to be more competition. However, those are the ad types that are going to convert the quickest to someone is buying my product and they are going to purchase, versus they just saw my ad here and there and so on. So that would be my question, defining qualified traffic, and then what is the ad type that can bring more qualified traffic. Right, next question is, how can I tell if my Amazon PPC ads are actually working? Great question. And again, we're going to define what working means in this scenario. If someone sees your ad, if you're getting clicks, even if you're not getting sales, we are defining those ads are working, right? So in that scenario, you can tell that the ads are working. In the scenario where you see you created your campaigns, you have no impressions at all, then we are going to look into, all right, so from a technical point of view, was the ad set up correctly? And then the second point of view is going to be from the product listing point of view. Is the listing right now live? Because what can happen sometimes is that simply you're just losing a buy box for the listing, and then even if you're running ads, no one can find, you cannot advertise your listing, right? So those would be the things that I would look into. But basically, just because it costs you more than you expected, or you're not converting at all, when it comes down to you're spending money on ads and you see no results in sales, that does not define that ads are not working for you. It's just something is broken in the system and you have to figure out what that is. And again, hi everyone. I see that more people are joining. Quick summary of what's going on. This is Noemi Bolojan. I am with ScaleWave. We are an agency that's specialized in Amazon ads, and these are my Ask Me Anything sessions that I'm running every Tuesday at this time at 1 o'clock EST, Florida time, and I'm aiming to answer all the Amazon ads questions, because I see that people are like, what's going on here? That is what is going on here, and it's a public streaming. So now you are up to date. Next question is, what are some Amazon PPC tactics that most sellers overlook? The tactics that I'm going to define them as tactics are the things that are not obvious, because you're specifically asking what are some Amazon PPC tactics that most sellers overlook. They're overlooking the listing side, and they're overlooking things that are not Amazon ads related. I'm also going to give you some of my, tactics, call them this way, that is Amazon ads related. But something that I'm seeing most often sellers will overlook is, how can I optimize my listing in such a way that once that I'm bringing traffic to it, it's going to convert. Most of the time, I think that is the problem, that you are not aware of the fact that 2 years ago, the listing that you had and the product you had was selling, and now it's not selling anymore. And competition is just, they are ruthless and they're picking up sales and they're picking up your sales. So that's why I'm saying that would be the first thing. Okay, look into your competitors. Did they improve something? Did they change something? Did they lower their pricing? Do they have additional inventory when you're out of stock? So those are minor details that most people, when it comes down to ads, would not even consider. However, those are problems that are rooted in, if I don't have physical product, or if the physical product that I'm selling is not at least as good as my competitor's product, it does not matter if I'm spending money on ads, it's not going to convert. So those are going to be some tactics that are Amazon PPC related, yet they are not specific to Amazon ads, running Amazon ads. Now, when it comes down to Amazon PPC tactics, most of the time when it comes down to this, I love to, whenever we're working with brands, I love to see what is their hero product. And then based on that hero product, if they are profitable on that, can we increase more spend on it for the things that already work? That is the most simplest tactic yet. Most of the time, you will see that, especially brand owners or sellers or people who are not necessarily seeing it like future 5, 10 years, 15 years, this brand, but it's like, hey, I want to sell it as quick as possible. And they are just, shiny objects, are attracted by shiny objects. What is going to happen is that they're going to say, this is my next launch, this is the most important thing, and so on. And they're going to neglect their best-selling product. So focusing on the best-selling product, creating more ads for that. If it's profitable, and if it's not profitable, we're looking into, can we make that product profitable by either doing price adjustments or simply just changes to the product if possible, or do we have any other products that we should be focusing and allocating budget towards? So those are my Amazon PPC and non-PPC tactics. How should I structure ad groups inside my Amazon PPC campaigns? So when it comes down to Amazon ads, the best way to structure ad groups is have the one campaign and the one ad group inside. Reason for that is because when it comes down to ad groups, you cannot divide budgets on the ad group level. Therefore, we like to have the one campaign and then the one ad group inside. Of course, you can say if you want to test maybe creatives like videos for sponsored brand, you can have 2 ad groups inside. The first one would be creative 1, the second one would be creative 2, and then allocate them the same amount of time to see, which one performs better. So then you would have 2 ad groups because you have 2 different creatives, but you're running ads for the same keywords. But those are the 2 instances when I'm saying, okay, in this case, you should have the one ad group besides one campaign. And then in that scenario where you would be A/B testing, you can have multiple ad groups. If it's not these 2 cases, I would never have more than 1 ad group per campaign. Let me know if that helped. All right, next question is, why should I use async targeting instead of keyword targeting? So what async targeting is basically is you are going to advertise on someone else's listing or on your own listing as well. That is the product detail page instead of a specific keyword. So we understand the definition. Now, when it comes down to async targeting instead of keyword targeting, we would use it instead, or not only instead, but in combination with keyword targeting, especially for categories that are very expensive, where the CPC is very expensive, so the cost per click is very expensive. This can be in the beauty, the baby, the supplements category. Yeah, these are top of mind. And sometimes even the consumable products can have high CPC. So that is when we would be using the async targeting together with keyword targeting. Now, if totally it makes no sense for us to go for keywords because it's so expensive, we would be starting with async targeting. However, we are using it usually together instead of I'm using this versus that. What does effective ads optimization look like from an Amazon FBA business? For an Amazon FBA business, I love it. We have to define what effective means. So in this case, I define effective is within the goal that I have. So if my goal it is to launch this product and get as many eyeballs as possible, the right eyeballs as possible to my product, then effective ads is going to be, I'm just going to drive traffic that is going to convert right away, especially sponsored product ads or sponsored brand video ads, which are the ones that are going to generate immediate sales, right? And sponsored brand video ads, especially if you have really good videos that are going to convey exactly what your product is, who is it for, and why your product is a no-brainer to purchase. These are also high converting ads, not only that they are on higher, like they are top of funnel, but they are still going to convert. So when it comes down to effective, I think it's really important for you to define what effective means for you. If you are in the stage of you want to scale and you want to get more market share, and probably that additional market share it's going to come at a cost and it's not going to be the cheapest. In that case, effective ads optimization is going to look like I'm going to spend most of my money for, or most of my budget for, ads that are helping with getting additional market share. Kind of like that's how I'm seeing it. Let me know if that helps. Hello, hello. People are still joining, so quick rundown yet again. My name is Noemi. I am a founder of ScaleWave. We are an agency that's specialized in helping brands selling on Amazon via Amazon ads. And today we have our AMA, Ask Me Anything session that is Amazon ads related. So that is what it's running right now. And I'm answering questions from the audience. We're also streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So if you have any of your questions on those channels, feel free to drop them in the comment section. Okay, next question is, what is an async catch-all campaign and when does it make sense to use? So I'm unsure who gave this name, catch-all campaign, but basically what that is, you would add all your catalog, or you would add all your variations of the one product that you're selling in one campaign, and you would bid as low as possible in order to at least get some impressions, and that is called a catch-all campaign. Now, again, I'm not sure who came up with this name, catch-all. Basically, that would be the case of getting cheap sale with, a wide net of discovery campaigns. Usually, catch-all campaigns are never going to be exact match campaigns. Caveat to that is going to be that most of the time what you're going to end up is a lot of spend in diverse things that maybe are not relevant or the most relevant for your product, just because you don't have the same control as with exact match ads. But basically, catch-all campaigns would be helping you to spread a wide net and browse for keywords, find search terms in this case, because that's what you're finding for your product that you might not be considering. All right, what time it is? 1:22. Okay, 8 more minutes to go. Next question is, how can I lower ACOS quickly without sacrificing sales volume? So ACOS is, again, let's define ACOS. It's the cost of how much it costs you to sell that product, right? But how much it costs to sell the product only from the advertising point of view, not from a total business revenue point of view. TACOS would have been if you're considering both organic and paid ads sales. ACOS is only the sales that you're making only with your ads. So the question is, how can you lower that quickly without sacrificing sales volume? So what is happening most of the time, and why I love this question, without sacrificing sales volume, is because most of the time, whenever you see that's a high ACOS, and ACOS here, let's say you're selling a product for $50 and it costs you $50 to sell the one item. In that case, you have 100% ACOS. So the same amount of revenue, it's costing you the amount that you invest in advertising. Now, in that scenario, what would normally happen is that you would want to lower as much as possible your ad cost of sales. So it's going to, you're going to be profitable on the product. But what can happen most of the time is that if the category or that you're selling in or your competitions are bidding higher, and even if you would bid lower, because that's what you would technically do, you are optimizing your ads to bid lower and make more profitable ads. What can happen is that you can take away market share from sales from whatever you achieve previously at a higher ACOS. So trying to simplify this as simple as possible, because I promise to be beginner friendly, right? But basically, the question is, how can you lower your ACOS quickly without sacrificing sales volume? I would zoom out for clarity and I would see, where does my money, my ad spend go? Because then I can see, hey, first off, do I have a catalog of 10 products versus the one product? Because then I would think, out of these 10 products, which one is costing me the highest, which one is the least profitable, and where does most of my ad spend goes. And if I'm noticing that out of 10 products, I have 2 products that are not so profitable where my ad spend goes, but the rest of the 8 products, maybe they are profitable, then I would go at the product that is most profitable, and and also I have inventory for, and I would try to advertise for that. So by doing this small switch of looking into what to prioritize, you are technically optimizing ACOS quickly without sacrificing your sales volume, because what you're doing, you're going to focus on something that works rather than something that already works but you want it cheaper. So my way of lowering ACOS would not necessarily be right away optimizing your bids and taking away sales, but rather, how can I look at the total business point of view, like total performance view, and focus on that rather than I saw that I made the one sale and I'm optimizing that right away. Let me know if that helped. Again, I'm aiming to make these as simple as possible. Next question is, what separates high-performing Amazon ads from average ones? So the question is, what separates high-performing ads from average ones? Strategy and speed of execution and iteration. I think these are the 3 things that are going to separate high-performing ads from average one. And why I'm saying that is, it has to do with, if you don't know a strategy that is not, I am going to make more sales. Yes, obviously that's why you would advertise. But if you don't know a clear strategy behind a campaign, why did you create it and what's its purpose besides generating additional sales? What I'm noticing is that no matter how good you are on the other side, simply you're just going to miss the big picture. And then the next thing is we were talking about high performing. One more thing is also that I see average average managers are doing is, they are going to optimize too quickly and not going to let enough time for data for meaningful data to be gathered. I think these are the 4 things that I'm seeing most often. All right, next question is, how do I find out? So once again, the question is, how do I find out how much a keyword is likely to cost in Amazon ads? Very easy to find it out. So you're going to create a list of 5 to 10 keywords that you believe are highly relevant to the product that you are selling. Here, for example, I have this Blistex medicated mint balm in front of me, right? And I love to use products that are in front of me. So here, for example, you would find all 5 to 10 keywords that are highly relevant for this lip balm. Lip balm is one of them. It's broader, but it is still one of them. A medicated lip balm, again, some of them are medicated, others are not so medicated. Could be Blistex is the keyword for the brand, so it's the brand name. What else does it has? How else would I? Lip protectant, sunscreen. So lip protectant, for example, it can be one of the keywords. Another one could be lip balm with sunscreen. Again, one more keyword. So those would be highly relevant for this product, for example. Once that you have those, you would go on Amazon, you would create a campaign, and literally you would not look at the Amazon suggested bids, but rather the way how we like to do it, especially when it comes down to product launch and we need to get as quick data as possible. We would bump up that price, the bid suggested from by Amazon by even like double, just to make sure that we are going to be one seen. So our product is going to be seen. So it's if it's a $2 CPC, the keyword lip protectant, we are going to bid $4 for it, for example, and then in a few hours, we're going to go and check back data. The data came in. Do we at least get clicks? Because then we know that at least it would cost us $4 or anything that's maybe below $4 because $4 is the maximum. So that is a good way for you to check out how much would those keywords cost. And then a second thing, what is also important is that the placement, where do you want to show up? Because you can show up on top of search. And usually when it comes down to product launches, we do want to show up on top of search. And for those keywords, probably it's going to be way more expensive. So then you will think, okay, out of these 5 keywords or 10 keywords, let's stick with 5 for now. Out of these 5 keywords, maybe I have one keyword that's really well performing and it's cheap and it's also making sales, then we would advertise more for that. So we would increase the budget for that. But that would be the strategy. And again, how can you find it out? To be frank with you, there are so many, forecast tools out there that this is how much it's going to cost, the cost per click. You never know what much or how much is going to be costing you the click until you advertise, so I know that we are trying to be as efficient as possible, but this is our way to be efficient. All right. 30. Let's go through and answer one more question. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, 2 more questions. So the next question is, what PPC strategies were best for authors selling books on Amazon? Best strategies we are seeing is 3. So it can be discovery campaigns where you would have either auto campaigns, either broad match or broad modified campaigns. Those are working well. The second one that's working well, exact keywords. So exact terms of what the topic is your book about. The third one is going to be your name. So the author's name. These are the 3 that most of the time are working best. Now, once that you get data on if there's one specific keyword that works best, you would allocate a placement modifier to that specific campaign. For example, if we are seeing that for exact match campaigns, those are the ones that are performing best at a reasonably low ACoS, that is it's helping us with profitability, then we would be looking into, can we modify this placement out of the 3 placements, to see where we can show up more and dominate more, therefore also make more sales. So that is the way how we see, or those are the strategies that are working best. Okay, the last question is, why is my ad campaign getting impressions but not generating sales? So impressions is just eyeballs, it's just traffic to your listing. If it's not generating sales, the first thing that I would do first off is, what type of campaign are you running? Because if you're running a discovery campaign where you generate more visibility towards your listing versus a manual exact campaign where you are targeting one specific keyword or one specific product, those are 2 different strategies, and those also are going to bring you different impressions. So first thing, what I would do is I would ask you, just open up your campaign manager and see, okay, is this a discovery campaign, more automatic campaign, or broad mesh or broad modified campaign, or is this an exact campaign? Because in exact campaign, for example, it's totally normal, especially if you have a lower search volume, to not have that many impressions, or not have almost at all impressions, especially if you're selecting a keyword that it's just not searched for, right? So I think those are the things that you should be looking into. First off, you're getting impressions, great. Those impressions are from a discovery campaign or from an exact match ranking campaign. If it's from a discovery campaign, you might getting way more impressions and no sales. If it's from an exact match campaign, you might be getting lower amount of impressions but no sales. The idea is still it's not generating sales. Do you have clicks at least? So do people click within the product once that they saw your ad? Because then what we can see, is this relevant to the product that you're selling, the keyword that you're advertising for or not? Because it has to do also with relevancy, right? So if you decide that this is totally relevant for whatever I'm selling, next is going to be, like, think of yourself whenever you would advertise on Amazon. How are you doing it? You're just opening up the browser, writing Amazon.com or whatever country you're in, and then writing the keyword for the product that you're looking for. So for example, if I would have looked up list text, the medicated mint balm, technically what I would be looking for, it's maybe medicated lip balm, right? Or mint lip balm. Mint lip balm probably is going to be the one. This one is both mint flavor and medicated. So then I would find the product. This is the one that I want to purchase and I would buy it. But how about if chopsticks, the other brand, is coming up? Are they also medicated? Probably not, So then I'm going to go with something that already has a better, it's more relevant to whatever I would look up a product for. So that is also the strategy that, or the thinking process that anyone purchasing on Amazon would use. Same as you, That's why I love to say, put yourself in your buyer's shoes, because we tend to get so attached to whatever we're selling that it's the best thing since, sliced bread, but it might not be. And if you come down honestly to look for your product and find your product and buy your product, that is great. However, at the end, it should be your customer avatar. And we have to make it as easy as possible to our customer avatar to buy the product. So getting back to getting impressions but not generating sales, I think it's going to be one of the hard questions to ask. Okay, what am I doing right now that is not working? And then second, what are the things that I should be prioritizing, implementing once that you figure that out? Because it might be that's optimization issue. It might be that competitors are selling lower than you are. It might be that you're having a very high quality product, but it's not coming across from your images. So those could be the things. All right, and that's a wrap. Thank you so much for everyone joining. Again, my name is Noemi. I am founder of ScaleWave. These sessions are live every Tuesday, and during these sessions, I aim to answer mostly beginner questions when it comes down to Amazon ads. However, advanced questions are also more than welcome. If you like this session and you want to join next time, feel free to do so. And if you are selling on Amazon right now and looking for someone who can strategically look into your advertising and see, okay, this is what's going on, where do you want to go next? I would love to be that person. Feel free to book a free call with me where we can give an audit of your current ads if you're already running ads, and then we can pinpoint, okay, what are the things that we should be prioritized, and if we're a good fit, amazing. If not, at least we are offering value that way. But that being said, thank you once again for watching and hope to see you next week when I will be back. Take care. Bye.